Okay, in this video, Ottawa Police Chief Eric Stubbs is talking to CTV News, and the title of the video is Ottawa Police Service Moving to New Deployment Model. And we have to preface this before starting the commentary on the video by saying that whenever Ottawa Police Chief Eric Stubbs is talking or doing one of these pre-planned interviews, you basically have to take everything he says and invert it, turn it around, invert it, because everything that these drug trafficking, psychopath, criminal Freemasons say when they're on the news is pretty much lies. So they get told what to say ahead of time. And it's going to be basically lies and inversion. So just to translate it for you, because that's how these criminal, psychopath Freemasons speak. They speak through all lies and inversion, at least when they're in the public eye. Because they lie and deceive about pretty much everything that they do. So we'll go from here. This is drug trafficking Freemason Police Chief Eric Stubbs, Ottawa Police Chief, on CTV News. Let's hear what he has to say.
The model will split the capital into 4 districts: Central, South, East, and West. Police say this will also support more localized decision-making and strengthen community relationships. It will cost $11.4 million and will require police to hire...
Just to stop this briefly for a moment, count the amount of times they say the word community in this video, because that's part of the whole communitarian shtick, is to have these buzzwords that you repeat over and over and over again. So everything is about what is best for the community, what is best for the crowd, the majority, nothing for the individual, because the individual doesn't matter and individual rights don't matter in communitarian Canada. It's just about what is for the greater good of the community, and that will always be dictated by the Freemasons in your community, the quote-unquote pillars of the community, as they are referred to by communitarian writer Amitai Azioni. Pillars of the community, mockingly referencing Freemasonry and the 2 pillars of Yakin and Boaz.
63 new officers and civilians over the next 3 years. Joining us now to take a closer look at the new...
So they're wanting 63 new officers and civilians to work in this community policing system, which has, to say the least, failed abysmally since it has been implemented, and has resulted simply in police criminally harassing and stalking law-abiding citizens, and also using citizens to do fake, illegitimate surveillance and stalk and harass people who Freemasons don't like, and people who speak out and speak the truth and say things that Freemasons don't like. That's what community policing is about. Freemasons basically dictating what you can say and what you can't say and what you can do, and sending people as part of the quote-unquote community who have been brainwashed and lied to, or also the families of Freemasons who have raised their children to be psychopaths and to disregard laws and to be fully accepting when it comes to terrorizing and harassing people who speak the truth. That's what they're referring to there. So they need to recruit more citizen spies to work with the police as they terrorize, harass, and stalk law-abiding citizens.
New district model is Ottawa Police Chief Eric Stubbs. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
You haven't been here that long in this city,
right,
but this sounds familiar for some of us who've been around a long time. We used to have
No, he initially worked for the RCMP, where he was covering up, where he was a part of drug trafficking and covering up child abuse rings and all the other wonderful things that his fellow Freemasons, the crimes that they were committing. He was a part of that with the RCMP, and also a part of setting up these whole systems to target and harass law-abiding Canadian citizens who the government sees as dissidents simply for speaking the truth, and utilizing a system that is almost identical as that used by the East German Stasi and criminal tyrants like Vladimir Lenin, the same tactics. So that's what Chief Stubbs was involved in before leaving the RCMP to become Ottawa Police Chief, after the staged fake trucker convoy in which the Ottawa Police set up a whole slew of staged fake interactions and created all this manufactured conflict to make justification for implementing more restrictions on freedoms.
Model that was much more...
That's what he was doing before.
Divided up.
Now he's...
Pre-amalgamation, even beyond. Is this going back to basics? Why return to this kind of model?
Well, a number of reasons. You know, you're right. There was a district model way back when, and it was moved to a more centralized model when there was little to no growth, and they had to make changes at the time. But and you mentioned that I haven't been here that long, but I've been here long enough now, and it took me about 6 or 8 months to really understand the community. It was an intense learning period, and it was.
There's that word again. You're going to hear it literally like every 3 to 5 seconds. Community, community, community. Individual rights don't matter. Everything is about the collective, and they're told to repeat that word over and over and over again. And that's the Canadian communitarian system, where even speech is controlled, just like what is shown in Orwell's 1984.
Clear to me that, we have a very large geographic area to cover, one of the largest in Canada. Our population is growing, our calls for service are growing, and the complexity of our investigation.
And yet, at the same time, despite that, your officers have all the time in the world to drive back and forth in front of my workplace here on an otherwise quiet street just to harass me while I'm trying to do my job. It's interesting that your calls are increasing, but yet you're doing things like that. You're sending officers to harass and stalk me when I'm simply at my job, and to work with criminal biker gangs, as you'll see in my videos, to drive back and forth all night in front of my workplace, doing noise harassment campaigns with officers blaring their sirens for nothing and setting up fake staged events as justification to come around here all the time. Yet when it comes to dealing with real calls, they're nowhere in sight.
Also increasing. But we have 24 wards.
Well, they're increasing because you're staging all of these fake crimes to try to create justification to bring in more and more of a police state.
In this city. And it was very clear to me that the unique needs, demands, and priorities change so much in each ward that we just weren't structured correctly to really address these unique needs in Carp versus Orleans versus Byward Market.
Well, yeah, in the Byward Market, of course, you have drug dealers operating openly right while police are in the area. And I even showed a video of that recently. And it was shot by someone who was from the United States, who was even shocked to see how brazen these things are happening. Now, there are always police around in the Byward Market. Yet, as you saw in that video, that drug dealer was operating pretty openly, and no police coming around to do anything about it, was there? Why is that, Chief Stubbs? I wonder. I mean, could you enlighten us as to why that is?
To Southern Ottawa.
Well,
Probably not, right? Probably not.
Okay, you
Byward
indicated
Market again.
yesterday that maybe you were letting certain communities down. You weren't responding in the way you needed to be.
Okay, there's the word again. How many times are we going to say community in this video? Let's see. Orwellian newspeak again. Okay, let's see. Letting certain communities down by allowing criminal drug dealers to operate right out in the open? Yeah, I'd say so. And there's that symbol of Ottawa, the symbol that is so similar to the Ouroboros serpent symbol, and a swirl which looks like it's almost 3 6s. Kind of a unique symbol for the city, isn't it? Almost like with the city of Toronto with the 2 towers or the 2 pillars, Joachim and Boaz for Freemasonry. Nothing to that, is there, though, Chief Stubbs? Signs and symbols mean nothing to Freemasons, right?
You're speaking about the Byward Market, the core specifically?
I'm speaking about the city, because there's certain areas, even, the rural areas that we have, they deserve police attention, and we don't give them enough attention. So we want to have a structure where we have...
No, that's because all your officers are driving back and forth out in front of my workplace just to harass me all night. They've got all the time in the world to do that, but you're saying you're not giving enough attention to these other areas. Maybe that's part of the reason why, Chief Stubbs, huh? Do you think so?
The resources and the focus to not only service the very intense core of the city, but also the rural and suburban parts as well.
Yeah.
A couple of questions about this model. It's obvious.
Service them by having officers ensure that drug dealers can operate freely, and by staging fake crimes to justify bringing in more and more armed police everywhere.
A priority for this city is traffic calming, slowing people down, the speeding. We've got cameras all over the city, more to come.
Yeah, that's part of the
Yet
surveillance state,
to,
isn't it, Chief Stubbs? That's part of the surveillance state that you're also told to lie about as well and say, oh, that's not happening, it's not a surveillance state. We only have cameras literally everywhere, but they're just for your safety, right, Chief Stubbs?
Officers were specifically assigned to traffic
That's all it
enforcement.
is.
Those numbers have diminished over the years, right? Are we not at about half of what we were maybe a decade
Well, they fudge the numbers all the time, and you lie about everything on the news, and she's also wearing the purple clothing for Freemasonry to symbolize the Freemasons who literally own all of these systems and who tell these talking heads on the news what to say and do.
ago
Right.
or so?
Yes.
So what does a community model like this do?
Right.
There's
Do we
that
have
word again.
enough
How many is that?
officers
How many is
involved in
that?
that
How
one?
many times are they going to say community in this video? Again, everything is about the collective. Communism. No rights for the individual. All that matters is what is for the greater good of the community, as arbitrarily determined by the Freemasons in your community, who have been given a false sense of power over everything in these areas, right?
So it's our goal. We have a very aggressive staff stabilization plan. We're in year 2 of 3.
Well, you have a very aggressive staff. We can say that for sure from that criminal psychopath Freemason officer English who violently attacked me just for speaking the truth. Yes, you do have a very aggressive staff.
And when we hire the people that we want, and you mentioned $11.4 million, we will have dedicated units that are proactive in each district that will be focused on the priorities of those particular, not only wards, but neighborhoods. And that includes...
Now you'll notice he's going to occasionally do those Hakuni Modra hand signals that these fraud masons are told to do whenever they're on TV, just to show the people who own them, just to send them the signal that they're saying what they've been told to say, like good obedient slaves. And Chief Stubbs does that a lot as well.
Our youth team,
he'll show the hand
team,
signals.
Our neighborhood resource team, our community policing officer.
There you go, community policing officers, right? Wonderful people like that guy, Officer English, who just violently attacks people and spews profanity every 2 seconds. A real class act, that guy. Really well trained as well. No capability for de-escalating a situation, just violently attacking people. And that's obviously, apparently, what Chief Eric Stubbs condones.
As well as our frontline officers that will have some ownership to the areas that they're policing as well, too.
I know probably in your
You mean the frontline officers like that bald officer who was shown in the video at the staged Parliament Hill event, bursting out laughing, looking at the media cameras and laughing during what the media was telling us was an active shooter event? I mean, you mean frontline officers like that? Is that who you're referring to, Chief Stubbs? That Ottawa cop who was laughing during the quote-unquote Parliament Hill attack? I mean, that definitely seems like a really sensible thing to do when you're facing an active shooter event, right, Chief Stubbs?
Well, you feel like you never have enough money, never have enough resources, never have enough
Never.
officers.
Well, they need,
63
yeah, of course,
people.
they need more. They always need more officers, and so they have to create endless amounts of lies to justify this military police state they're creating and the surveillance state. So they have to stage a lot of fake crimes to justify bringing in more officers, and it's all done through deceit and mostly through staged events, which this psychopath fully endorses and which he helps plan as well.
So is that a net gain?
Alongside
Do you not
CSIS.
also be losing officers through attrition, other things over the next 3 years?
Yeah, certainly. And actually, at the Ottawa Police, we are going to experience a retirement bubble. There's a large group of people that can retire now, so we have to manage that bubble as well as the growth that we want. So our staff stabilization plan has those losses also included in the growth.
So we will.
Yeah, well, they need to bring in that case, they need to bring more violent criminal psychopaths like that, violent criminal thugs like that psychopath Officer English in to do their job so well, right, Chief Stubbs? Again, just the best of the best that you recruit for these positions. People who are so well trained and able to de-escalate by violently attacking people just for speaking the truth. That's what his officers do.
We will come up with...
And when they're not doing that, they're staging fake events in coordination with this same media, which is trotting Chief Stubbs out here like a dog to repeat these lies for.
Better come out ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, budget, as you mentioned, is a key factor, and I'm not tone deaf to what is going on in the city with finances and the budget, but this is something that we really believe in. I hear it a lot from the community when I'm out in the community, and I'm touring all 24 wards right now with the councillors to get a current status of what's going on there, and I get a lot of, we need you more, we want you here, and I can see that work that is needed.
And yet, despite saying that, his officers have time to drive around harassing me, stalking me when I go to and from work, driving back and forth in front of my workplace all night, and working with criminal motorcycle gangs to harass a law-abiding citizen. They can spend time on that, but yet they're not doing what they're supposed to do, Chief Stubbs. Why is that? Why aren't you there when real issues are unfolding that require police assistance? And why do you have so much time to dedicate towards using police to harass, intimidate, and terrorize law-abiding citizens, as per your community policing guidelines that have worked so wonderfully since they've been implemented?
In every ward.
We see the officers here in the Byward Market. Just quickly, we're out of time. This will be fully deployed. This
and
new
of course,
district
she's
model
wearing
when?
the purple for Freemasonry. So there you go.
2027 is our goal to fully.
Okay, Chief Stubbs. So that's enough. You've got what he's had to say there, and he's again just reciting a script of lies to justify more and more of a police state and more surveillance everywhere, all done through lies, deceit, manipulation, and inversion. And you can just tell what amazing support Chief Eric Stubbs has from the quote-unquote community. Okay, take a look at this video here now. This is the one we just spoke about. Just to put this in context, CTV News has 2.14 million subscribers, okay? This video was viewed 1.1K times, according to YouTube, which lies about the view counts anyway. It was probably viewed... well, it might have been viewed more than that. You never know. And there are 8 upvotes. So you can tell the community is very supportive of what Chief Stubbs has to say here. And you can tell what an amazing success the whole concept of community policing has been all throughout the country. That pretty much tells you right there, right? So 8 upvotes out of 1.1K views. So over 1,000 views, 8 upvotes, and the channel has 2.14 million subscribers. I guess those 8 upvotes were from some of the Freemason cops, because no one in their right mind is going to support anything this psychopath, drug trafficking Freemason says when he goes on here to recite these scripts of lies to support tyranny. But that just tells you right there. I mean, even that they have to... that was probably faked in and of itself. I doubt that there are even 8 people that support this guy. So, but again, they have the communitarian system, so these people who they control like slaves have to at least pretend to go along with the police for this whole community policing thing, because they themselves have signed on to receive free accommodation and, added perks to participate in staged events with the wonderful people like Chief Stubbs and his officers here. But that's the support the community has for Chief Stubbs and community policing. And that's out of 1,000 views, over 1,000 views, 8 upvotes. I'd say that's pretty telling, huh? CTV News and Eric Stubbs. There you have it.